Hi, welcome to Climbing Daily. Today we've got a bit of a special show. Back in November we travelled to the Peak District to visit Wild Country, a British climbing brand, to find out how the kit you use is conceived, designed and built. We followed from start to finish the creation of their new sport climbing quick draw, the Proton. Wild Country is one of the UK's premier climbing, clothing and hardware brands. Founded in 1977, the company has become a cornerstone of the British climbing scene, and they currently sponsor some of the best and most exciting climbing talent in the country. They manufacture everything from harnesses and slings to cams and screw gates, but we're here to look at one of their newest products, the Proton.
I'm Richie Patterson, I'm the marketing manager at Wild Country, and I also do help with the product design as well. It's a small company and we're all climbers, and kind of that's the point, so we all chip in. We have a rolling 5-year plan. We look at the market, we look at trends, we look at what we want to do in various areas. So it's actually quite complex, and then we boil that down to where we need to expand. So for instance, we identified that in carabiners at the moment there were certain things going on, and so for this season we decided to focus on carabiners and add something to the range. I think with the Proton, the gap we identified was to become more specialist than anything else out there.
So coming away from the last meeting, I think we came away with a brief which is basically to design a carabiner so specific to sport climbing, and the focus really would be on the function and usability of the product. The design process is basically we start off with some hand sketches, bit of brainstorming, 3 or 4 people get involved and we start talking and get some ideas flowing. Then I'll go and take one of those ideas, or maybe 2 of those ideas forwards onto CAD.
We have to go through a certain amount of set processes, and so we set James going and he went away, and then the project was born from that.
Hey James.
Hi Charlie.
So, they've had the meeting upstairs, you've got your sketches. What are you going to do on here?
So basically once you've got the paper sketch you're happy with, the process we use is if we take that to a scanner, scan it in, and then import that scan into a program we call SolidWorks. So initially you got the 2D outline, you then extrude that to form to give it some depth, and then using a number of features start to introduce the design language, I suppose, of the carabiner. So you've got a bit of a thin part on the spine here and it gets fatter.
Yeah, so the carabiner is much narrower here than it is at the top. Okay.
And the reason for that is the force is sort of going straight down the back, but when it's around the top here, it's trying to bend it all out.
So as well as shape, the strength comes literally from size.
Yeah, it can do.
Being more metal.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, we've tried to integrate sort of the I-beams, you'll see as we progress this design further, which is basically cutouts in a section. And how that works is when you put tension into the carabiner, you've got this surface under tension and this one in compression. And the bit in between the two doesn't actually do anything, it's just filler material. So you can lose a lot of weight and retain a lot of strength by using this I-beam construction, and we'll see it here. So as you can see, you've got this cutaway section.
So you've actually taken a piece of the metal out.
Yeah, and that
because it isn't important to the strength of the carabiner.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. So this is the half the carabiner, and then when we mirror it, you'll see this just come over. Yeah. So we now got the full carabiner, and we're happy with that. So we send that effectively to the 3D printer, where we can produce that as it is on screen, but you know, in reality, I suppose.
Can't wait to see this. Right, send it to the printer. So you've had a few months' work and you're ready to 3D print. Tell us about the machine. Okay,
so basically this interprets your 3D data off your CAD. So it's about to start printing, and it'll print it in sort of there's a nylon spool on the back of the printer that will be dragged through the head, and it's heated up to maybe 100 degrees, and then it lays it in very fine sort of strips. As per the drawing on the computer.
So when we come back in an hour, we're going to have a 3D model of your first proper draft of the Proton.
Yep, 63 minutes.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
Quick cup of tea?
Yeah, sure thing.
James, we ended up having time for 3 cups of tea, but it's done now.
Basically what it does is it prints on some rafter. This is material that you'd clean off,
Okay.
And sort of maybe get some files on it and get it back to this sort of finish that you see on the other side. But this looks pretty good to me. I mean, we'd pass it around upstairs and have a look, but now we'd basically send the CAD off of this to the prototypers and get some metal samples.
Nice.
Almost 3 times.
Ooh. Glad we locked the door.
Yeah.
Big thanks to the guys at Wild Country. If you enjoyed that, make sure you check back next Friday for the second part of the story, where we have the most enjoyable part of the process, the testing phase. Last thing before we leave you, here's the Banana Fingers Deal of the Week. This week, the guys are offering you 20% off everything for big walling. If you've got any plans to hit Yosemite, or if you just want to look the part walking around town, then get yourself over to bananafingers.co.uk and at checkout, type in CD472. That's it from us this week. We'll see you on Monday.